Alright, so last but definitely not least, let's finish up with third line kit, which is basically your ruck and everything in it. This is the stuff you're going to ruck into probably your fob, and if you're lucky, maybe get to leave a lot of it there and not carry all that weight around on your back. But anyway, this is where all your stuff is going to go. So here's my ruck. This is an SSO Bergen, which is a Russian copy of the British Bergen. Which is a pretty simple 60-liter pack. It's got these two 10-liter side pockets that actually zip on and off. Here's one of them zipped off. So you can turn it into an 80-liter pack. I usually leave those on there. You can zip them off, and they've got these weird little straps, and you can actually zip them together, the two little side pouches, to create the jankiest little backpack. But it's not very comfortable, and it's pretty dumb. But there is that. Anyway, here's the pack. So it's got those two side pouches. Here I've got my entrenching tool, which is a cold steel Superca, which is a very sharp shovel. It's got this top patch, which has ample storage space, which I'll show you what I keep in there in a minute. It includes this pull-out rain cover, which is good. And that's about it. And the handy thing is, since it is a copy of the British Bergen, more or less, you can find a ton of videos about different ways people have set up, configured, resized their Bergens, and you don't have to try and be translating Russian moon runes all day long. So, let's see. Let's skip over here to my sleeping bag. This is just a Kelty down bag. It's a great bag, theoretically down to 20 degrees. My experience, you start to get pretty uncomfortable around 35, 40 degrees. Unless you go into 100% full mummy mode, but that's alright. Still a good bag. If I was going to buy one right now, I'd probably just do the MSS if you don't mind the extra weight. But for Milsim purposes, here is the MSS. That's a modular sleep system, USGI bivy bag, which goes right over that, provides some concealment, and let me shut this door here. Use some light. And gives you a little bit of rain protection. This particular bag is wet right now because my cat just peed on it. So if I'd had the bivy bag properly deployed, that wouldn't really be a problem because that would have just beat it up. So throw this over your sleeping bag, and in like a light rain, you will thank yourself. You can get just the bivy bag for like 20 bucks. Definitely go do it. You can get the whole sleep system, which comes in multiple layers for different temperatures for, up to about 100 bucks. Not a bad investment. Sometimes you can find them a lot cheaper than that. This is my sleeping pad. This one is inflatable. You can just get the USGI foam pad ones. Those aren't great in my experience, but they are a tiny bit more compact. Here is compression sack that all this goes into, gets crushed down nice and tight, and then thrown on the top or the bottom of the pack, usually top. This here is a Russian SSO sitting pad, which is a silly thing that they use to keep from getting wet when they're sitting in the field. May or may not bring that. Hey look, I found my multi-tool. It was in here. This is a VDV mess kit and canteen. So that's got a couple little pots for boiling water with a handle, as well as the 1-liter canteen. The case, I keep that in here. Some wet wipes, handy to have. I like to keep 1.5 full MREs, so some of the stuff would be in my butt pack. This is be a full meal in here. This is a Russian IRP ration, which is kind of in the European style compared to the US, where it's a full day's meals. So there's basically 3 meals in there. It's kind of heavy, a little bit bulky, but it is 3 meals of varying quality. Most of it's actually pretty good, but the can openers tend to break, and some of it is unidentifiable paste that I don't find even slightly edible. It's all really rich and fatty, which is good, but maybe not for your taste buds. Almost done. So, insect spray, heating pads, like I said, if your feet or toes or your fingers get really cold like mine do sometimes. Probably not going to happen in August with a low in the 50s, but don't weigh a lot. I keep some of those handy all the time. waterproof matches. There's a little P38 can opener. I always keep at least one of those in like everything I own because they weigh nothing and they're super handy. And finally, that's an emergency heater blanket. Again, probably don't need it, but it weighs, I don't know, half an ounce or something. So that kind of just stays in there all the time anyway, as well. And that is just about it. So that's the 3 levels of the fighting kit. Like I said, download the TaxOp. If you're interested in MSW's way of doing things particularly, I will put a link to it, and you can kind of compare what I've listed here. I've probably forgot a handful of tiny things, but rest assured I got them somewhere. I didn't cover grenades. I do usually have a couple smoke, a couple pea grenades as allowed on me, but I'll pick those up at the event and add them to the SMERSH. Same thing with Kim lights, some zip ties, a few other random bits that I will add as I go along. That's about it. If you got any big questions, I mean, yeah, go ahead. Feel free to ask up, or, you know, if you see anything you think I'm doing wrong, feel free to make suggestions. Been doing this a while at some events that are a little harder than this even, but often learn in life that you've been doing things wrong for a while until somebody tells you, and then you're like, oh, that could have been done better the whole time. So there you go. Cool.